Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
The Knicks tried to shut the door on Detroit, but the Pistons would not go quietly into the New York night. Also, the Nuggets looked to gain an edge in their tightly contested series against the Clippers, and the Packers tried something different in the NFL draft. Did it work? Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins.
I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
Another close game in the Pistons and Knicks series, and this one is headed back to Detroit with New York still leading 3-2, but the Pistons getting a hard-fought 106-103 victory in Game 5. Alex Wolf from Locked On Knicks joins me now. And Alex, the Knicks had a chance to close out this series, but as has been the case throughout this series, this has been nip and tuck, back and forth the entire way. This just felt like more of the same from these two teams. This seems like a really, really evenly matched group of teams for a series that was 24 hours ago, 3-1.
Yeah, and from the Knicks' perspective, just tough luck in terms of timeout management and stuff. It just really did not go their way down the stretch of this game. With about 2 minutes left, they have to take a timeout with Josh Hart injured on the floor. He has to be removed from the game. Jalen Brunson at the same time also tweaks something and is removed from the game for a little treatment. And both those guys come out, and then they both emerge and are ready to check back in, and then have to just kind of sit and wait for a minute and a half until, there was a stoppage in play finally, which was the Knicks finally just giving in and calling their timeout that they had been hoarding for the minute and a half prior to that to try to not call it in case they needed it down the stretch of the game, which then they did. So yeah, just brutal stuff. I mean, for those that are, not the biggest Tibbs fans, maybe myself included, not exactly a ringing endorsement for the guy who is generally pretty flippant with his timeouts. And it really came to bite him in this one because the Knicks just were in a position where they needed a timeout and didn't have one at their disposal to try to win this game. And it kept the best clutch player in the NBA on the bench for 1.5 out of the final 2 minutes. So still some crazy shot making by Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby down the stretch of the game. They almost managed to make something happen there, but then just couldn't quite pull it through.
Yeah, but a 3-point loss in a game where Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson combined to shoot 9 for 30, you feel like, okay, this is pretty good, except that they won the last game on a controversial no call. It's been 1 play, 2 plays, 3 or 4 plays in the final 2 minutes that seems to have decided all of these games. What is it about this matchup that you think is so tricky for the Knicks?
The first 4 I guess the first 4 games, it was, the officiating was, I think Karl Anthony Towns put it as weird at one point.
I think that's fair. Yeah, that's the diplomatic, I don't want to get fined way of putting it, for sure.
Precisely what he said right before he said, I don't want to get fined. So I'll call it weird. But it was unlike any officiating that I've seen in the modern NBA for the first 4 games. And honestly, I think that the Pistons came into the playbook of what they thought they'd be able to get away with, and then were getting away with it, like jersey tugs and arm hooks and pushes and moving screens and whatever. And, it's not to say the Knicks have been faultless at getting physical or whatever, but then it was just a total tonal shift in this game. Just the classic NBA overcorrection of, we're not calling enough fouls, so now we'll call too many fouls. It's like, well, maybe just call the right amount of fouls, and then we'll have an enjoyable game to watch rather than either a boxing match or a foul fest. But this one turned into a foul fest, and I think the Pistons, to their credit, I mean, they're scrappy. Like, they have I think a pretty well balanced roster, all things considered. They're built well around their star player. Obviously, we've seen in terms of some late game execution stuff, like they're still figuring things out as a young team with, that's led by a guy who's like 22 years old. Like that's not unexpected. But yeah, I mean, it's been tight. This kind of just feels like the playbook for Knicks series the last couple years. I mean, it was very similar vibes in the Sixers series last year, where everything was so tight. Everything was decided by like 1 or 2 possessions down the stretch. And, again, if you ask a Knicks fan who's not the fondest of Tibbs, like I think that, and, I would count myself one of them. I think that some of the talent is not being used in the smartest way possible, because on paper, this Knicks team should be quite a bit better than Detroit. And that's not like a disrespect to the roster there. It's just like facts, and I think the execution early in games has led to late games being tighter than they have to be, or just certain lack of adjustments has made certain games tighter than they should be, such as the last game, for example, where the Knicks were up by a good amount and then down the stretch had it be really tight and had to pull it out, in the final couple minutes there. It should have never been that tight. They should have been able to, adjust on the fly to what the Pistons were doing, and it just didn't happen. So I think that's the answer as to why it's been getting tight. It's just the adjustments have not exactly been coming at a rapid pace from the Knicks sideline.
You can stay up to date all year on the New York Knicks by subscribing to Locked On Sports Today and Locked On Knicks on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Your Locked On Sports Today. Coming up, it was the pivotal Game 5 in Clippers and Nuggets. Before we get to that, the Sacramento Kings didn't have to look far for their next head coach. The NBA playoffs roll on, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. FanDuel makes betting easy, whether it's picking your favorite team or diving into player props, from three-pointers to steals to assists. There's so many ways to bet your favorite player props or your teams, your sides, your point spreads. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance at even bigger payouts. Check out tonight's NBA playoff odds. The Warriors 4.5-point underdogs on the road after going up 3-1 on the Rockets. There's nothing like that urgency of an elimination game. The Lakers also on the verge of elimination. They're 5.5-point favorites at home versus the Timberwolves. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Sacramento Kings are sticking with Doug Christie. The former Kings player and interim coach is finalizing a multi-year deal to officially drop the interim tag, according to ESPN. Christie took over midseason and led Sacramento to a 27-24 record, showing enough promise for the front office to commit. He'll get a chance to rebuild the coaching staff and maybe, just maybe, bring a little bit of that early 2000s Kings magic back to town. Elsewhere in the NBA, the Magic tried to stave off elimination at the hands of the Celtics.
This is Philip Rossman-Reich, the host of Locked On Magic, coming to you from the TD Garden as the Orlando Magic fall to the Boston Celtics 120-89, ending their season in Game 5 of the first round of the playoffs. There is a lot to say about this game and a lot that the Magic did right, but still so much that they did wrong. Obviously, the big story was Paolo Banchero picking up 3 fouls within the first 3 minutes of the third quarter, completely changing the complexion of the game, completely changing what the Magic could do and what the Magic could accomplish, because ultimately, Banchero's absence just only exposed the Magic's flaws and their fatal flaws that ultimately cost them this game. Orlando played their hearts out. There's no quit in this team, despite what the final score might tell you. They played a precise game, but ultimately the dam was going to break. The Magic missed open shots. They could not sustain their offense. They could not get some relief. They could not take advantage of the execution and the effort that they put in, and ultimately the Boston Celtics are going to make threes. They're going to make shots, and the Magic just did not have enough offense to sustain it. Orlando now heads into an offseason where they have a lot of work to do to improve their offense and get it up to a level where their defense can truly be a menace in this league. They proved that throughout this series, that their defense is for real. They proved that their 2 stars are for real as well. But the Magic have a lot of work to get back up to the championship level the Celtics are playing.
It was an epic collapse for the Milwaukee Bucks, who give up a late 7-point lead in less than a minute, and their season is now over. The Pacers are moving on.
Well, that was just unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. The game's been over for a while, and I still know what to say. Pacers beat the Bucks 119-118 in overtime to secure their first-round series with a 4-1 win. Down 4 in the final minute. Pacers get a lucky break on a dumb Bucks possession and score twice and tie it up. Down 7 with 40 seconds to go. Force 2 turnovers, score every trip. Tyrese Halliburton dunking, hitting free throws. beating Giannis to the basket and scoring a layup with 1.3 seconds to go. Bucks out of timeouts. A magnificent moment for him. Another on his list of big shots against Milwaukee. I mean, I've never seen a game with so many moments where I felt like the Pacers would lose down 20 in the second quarter, down late twice, but they found a way as they have all season. They're on to the second round. Much more coming on Locked On Pacers.
And in Major League Baseball, Zach Wheeler and the Phillies got to work against the Nats.
Oh, you're going to get a nice 5-2 victory over the Washington Nationals. That'll be a nice way to start this 6-game homestand and 3-game series against the Nats with 3 wins in a row. A little 5-2 win. Not so fast, says Orion Kerkering and Johan Rojas and Trey Turner, for that matter. What a wild top of the 9th inning that somehow magically the Phillies were able to overcome. You could do this against a team like the Nats. You could misplay 2 balls in center field, Johan Rojas. You could commit 2 and maybe 3 misplays, Trey Turner, in the field against the Nationals. But you sure as heck can't do that against a team like the Mets. You can't do that even against a team like the Braves even. But the Phillies find a way to win this game despite their struggles in the top of the 9th inning. Number 1, Alec Boehm gets the leadoff single to get the bats going, and then Bryson Stott at third is able to score on a walk-off wild pitch when the ball scooted away from Ruiz behind the plate.
While the other series come to a close in the Western Conference, one of them has been truly elite. The Clippers and the Nuggets entered last night's contest knotted at 2 games apiece. Locked On Nuggets host Matt Moore and Ryan Blackburn recapped a Game 5 that usually tells the tale of a series.
My thing, I was driving home thinking about across the beautiful the highways of northern Colorado, and just one highway because it's just 25 forever, is I was thinking a lot about, I went on a show with Lucas Hahn on Sunday that talks about the Clippers. And one of the things I said is I was like, the Clippers are better, but the Nuggets are tougher. Like, they're just a tougher team. And that's been the thing. And tonight definitely felt like a game where that showed up. The Nuggets made shots, just like the Clippers made shots in Game 3. If you want to equate the two, you can do that. You could be like, the Nuggets shot 52% from 3 in Game 5. The Clippers shot whatever they did in Game 3. You know, those 2 games kind of cancel each other out. Right. What I would kind of say is that after Game 4 and the exhaustion of the series through the first 4 games, Denver, with 2 days off, came home and delivered a mental sucker punch to the Clippers, where they're like, if you're going to put James Harden on Jamal, we're running you on off-ball screens, and Jamal's going to kill you that way. When you put James Harden on Joker to try and negate that action, guess what? We're going to make him play drop and play coverage in space versus Jamal Murray, and we're going to cook you that way. And they were able to get those kind of performances. Jamal was so phenomenal tonight.
So good.
Burst for him to get into space. The shot making is great, but again, I want to stress this. It didn't used to just be like Jamal would hit wild circus shots. It was like Jamal would be able to navigate space to hit fadeaway jumpers. That's his go-to. And he is getting to his spots, Ryan Blackburn, and making the shots that he wants to, and he dominated this game as the best player on the floor in a game in which Nikola Jokic honestly didn't have that great of a game.
It wasn't great, and the Nuggets needed somebody to set the tone tonight, and it was Jamal Murray's turn. Like, that, plain and simple, it was his turn to do what was needed for this Nuggets team. You saw great moments from Nikola over the course of Game 4, from Aaron Gordon, obviously, in Game 4 and also in Game 1. And Denver has had good moments in between that, but Denver hadn't really had a Jamal Murray game. Matt, this was very clearly the Jamal Murray game, very clearly one where, and we were talking about this on the way out of the arena, like, you had a Kawhi Leonard game, you had a James Harden game, you had a Nikola Jokic game, you kind of needed a Jamal Murray game. And it's just exciting to see him reaffirm that belief in him over, because I think some Nuggets fans and some folks just sort of brush him to the side at times, and he doesn't always perform up to that level at times, but tonight he was on that level. Did you know that 43 points is tied for the most in a playoff game this year for anybody? Like, anybody. Wow. Anthony Edwards tied it, and he had a 43-point game as well. But, like, that's the kind of level that we're talking about here, Matt. It's ridiculous sometimes the levels that Jamal can go to. And when you contextualize it like that, I think it's very, very important for Nuggets fans to just be appreciative that in a night where Nikola Jokic had 13 points, didn't matter because Jamal Murray was scoring enough for the both of them.
I was listening to some Clipper pods I respect on the way home, and a big commentary line was, man, we lost the game in which Jokic wasn't good.
Yeah.
They wasted the good Jokic game or the bad Jokic game. And that's really kind of killing them, I think. And I think, Murray, first off, I have to tell the story. Okay.
Oh, great.
So we're walking from the media room through the tunnel to the court to go take our seats. And we're kind of talking about like, what do you think tonight? And I was like, I don't know. I thought Clippers were going to win. I was like, feels like Kawhi's going to have a game. And, Aaron Gordon's going to do everything that he needs to do to defend him. And he's going to hit shots and people being like, he cooks Gordon. And then Ryan just in passing says, yeah, when in actuality, like he just got the switch on Jamal and was scoring on him instead. And Jamal Murray was coming to the court right behind us as he says this. So again, you're welcome, Denver. There's a reason we call the show No Jinx. It was just a phenomenal.
Yeah, because Ryan's actually manually jinxing by actively like digging a screwdriver into Jamal Murray's like just the attitude is just immediately get started at that point. No, I mean, so the funny he probably didn't hear any of that, but it was just very uncomfortable after you see him walk up right behind and just be like, oh, gotta love getting too comfortable at Ball Arena, huh?
I mean, look, we have done all. I don't know how much more jinxing we have left. Yeah. Like the powers have been exhausted.
I've been deep in my bag, and unfortunately deep in my bag for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Man, yeah, we'll get to another time. Ryan committed a basketball war crime against the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. As with 7 seconds left or like a minute left, they're up by 7. And Ryan says the thing that he always jokes about where he's like, I don't see any way. He does that with everything. It for the jinx thing. And he was like, I don't see any way the Bucks blow this. Like, Ryan, what did they do to you?
The like is nothing. They didn't do it. They've been miserable for like years, Matt. It's really unfortunate. And I felt really bad in the moment for it. But like, holy cow, lots of crazy basketball being played right now. And the Bucks are just one of those teams that's sun's getting real low on that dynasty.
Stay up to date all year on the Denver Nuggets by subscribing to Locked On Sports today and Locked On Nuggets on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. Coming up, was the Packers draft mid? This might shock you, but the Green Bay Packers actually drafted a receiver in the first round. I was shocked. First time in 23 years. Peacock and Williamson host Brian Peacock and Matt Williamson. You see how they got the name. Believe that not only did the Packers not really need a receiver in round one, their draft as a whole was mid.
If I was to critique the Packers, it was like you maybe need to just, if you're going to draft Savion Williams in the third round again, and to be honest with you, I don't know if they needed to draft first round wide receivers, because I think that, mid round, second round, third round, fifth round, that plan has worked for the Packers.
Yeah. There's no superstar, but it's been fine. It's been good. So
draft that edge in the first round and then get your wide receivers later, because it's been working out, especially if you're going to draft Savion Williams in the later rounds. So it's a minor critique. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's an odd build. I think getting Golden at pick 23 is fine. I wasn't as high on Golden as some folks were. I don't think he plays to the 4.29, but he can get open for Jordan Love. Belton, we'll see what he ends up being. Is he too lumbering to be a good pass protecting starting offensive tackle in the NFL? This class could go either way. And some of these other later round picks, 5, 6, 7 rounds, 5, 6, 7. Are they going to contribute? Special teams? What kind of value are they going to give you? So it's kind of just like B-, C+ ish draft for me. I feel kind of similar. I go C+, kind of similar to the Lions draft here.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a C as well.
Why? Look, I didn't love Matthew Golden as a player. I didn't think he was a first round player. But Anthony Belton, Savion Williams, and Matthew Golden on offense, what you are doing is matchup proofing your offense. Oh, you want to play two high safeties? Not let Jordan Love get the ball deep? Okay. Here's a guy whose nickname is Escalade because he's such a big, physical, powerful dude. The Packers want to be able to run the ball downhill. Aaron Banks and now Anthony Belton. Josh Jacobs, Marshawn Lloyd, who's coming back from injury. They want to be able to run the ball downhill. And when you bring that safety down, now it's Matthew Golden over the top. Punish you for playing a single high safety. It's Savion Williams. Just get him the ball quick. You're going to have to tackle him. You're going to have to tackle Tucker Kraft and Jacobs and Lloyd and Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks and Romeo Doubs. Matchup proofing is what the Eagles did to their offense. Works pretty well for them. And this defense was a top 10 unit last year. They needed depth with their pass rush. They've invested there. Kenny Clark, first-round pick. Devontae Wyatt, first-round pick. Rashawn Gary, first-round pick. Lucas Van Ness, first-round pick. Linebacker, Quay Walker, first-round pick. Edgerrin Cooper, second-round pick, was a star last year. One of the best safety groups in the league. And now it's looking like, according to recent reports, Jair Alexander might be staying in Green Bay. So was the defensive need really so pressing? They added explosive playmakers on offense. They added crucial depth on defense. They were a contender before they're a contender now. What's made about that? And finally, Luka Doncic is already winning hearts in LA and not just on the court. The Lakers' new star donated $5,000 to fully cover the cost of restoring a vandalized mural of Kobe and Gigi Bryant in downtown LA. The piece, titled Mambas Forever, had become a beloved tribute since Kobe's tragic passing in 2020. They gave me so much, so I just want to give back, Doncic said. One artist's mural, one superstar's gesture, and one more reason for LA to embrace its newest Laker. If you're catching this episode after hearing your favorite Locked On show, make sure to subscribe to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Also, if you're a new subscriber to Locked On Sports Today, we're here for you with the biggest stories in sports every day. Coming up, is the Lakers season about to be over? So at least until tomorrow, stay locked on sports today.
Locked On Podcast Network presents Locked On Sports Today.
For more episodes of Locked On Sports Today, go to our video on demand. Click on sports at the top of your screen. There, you'll find past episodes of Locked On Sports Today, plus other Locked On shows on demand.